We need to come up with some sort of intro.
Here's our podcast. Ladies love real estate. There you go.
We got to get some like music and like, you know, a jingle. A jingle.
What kind of music do you envision? You're the art director.
Am I?
Yes. You're definitely the art director.
Am I?
So what's your question?
My question is, how long have you been a homeowner again?
2013.
2013.
So almost 11 years? Yep.
Why does this question say, why I wish I bought 10 years ago?
Because this is something that many people say.
Oh.
Okay. So, and even when I bought my house in 2013,
You wish you bought in 2003.
Why
2003.
did I buy a house 10 years ago? One of the vendors that we used was a termite guy, and he came by and he came to the house. He was like, this house is so great, blah, blah, blah. Why didn't you buy?
10 years ago.
I was like, yeah, he didn't say 10 years. He was like, you should have bought in 2011 or, you know, whatever it was. Because 2008 obviously was a huge crash. And so a lot of houses
We're dirty.
Yeah, exactly. The deals on the houses were much better. And I was like, because I didn't have the money to buy a house 2 years ago or however long it was. It's like,
And when is the right time to buy a house?
when you can afford it and when you want to buy a house, when you want to be a homeowner. Those are the two things. Do you want to be a homeowner? Can you afford it? Can you afford it?
And those many years ago,
I couldn't afford it. So the number one thing was that we couldn't afford it. You know, so that's the thing, is that everybody says, oh, I wish I had bought, oh, you know, a lot of times you'll look at a listing or at a home. Of course, I'm sure everybody does this. Not everybody, a lot of people who are real estate obsessed like myself. You look back at the history of how much the house sold for last. You look back, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that house sold for, you know, $400,000 and now it's worth $5 million, whatever it was. And so that's the thing about real estate that's so powerful, is that, you know, especially in a city like Los Angeles, in general, there's not enough houses for how many people who want to buy and can afford a home here. So in general, the houses are going to appreciate. And so that's why people say that all the time, or think that, oh man, why didn't I buy 10 years ago? I wish that I had bought my house however many, you know, whenever I tell people I bought in 2013, they're always completely floored, like, oh my gosh, what a great time to buy. When I bought my house in 2013, I was not thinking that I was getting an amazing deal, okay? That's the other thing. No matter what market you're in, you're never gonna get the most amazing deal, right? You're always buying at the top of the market in general, unless it was that 1 year, which is 2008, you're always going to be buying at the top of the market. And you just have to come to terms with that fact, that you are going to be the one who pays the most for that house during that time. And you just have to live with that and realize that, hey, this is a long-term investment. It's not something that you're going to do, you know, unless you're a house flipper, you're gonna buy at the top of the market. And that is what it is.
you gotta live in the moment.
Yep. You gotta live with the reality of that moment and just be okay with it.
You can't go backwards. You can't go backwards to how much the house cost 10 years ago. You can only deal with the numbers that you have right now. And of course, you wish that the price of the house in 2023 was the same price that it was in 2008, but it's not. So focusing on that isn't going to help you. If anything, just focusing on your current reality of whether or not you can afford it and being grateful that you can afford it in 2024. And then, you know, preparing for it to be worth more in 2034. Oh my God, we live in the future.
Oh my gosh, right?
2034
is 10 years
away.
crazy.
Oh my God, I can't
Whoa,
handle it.
whoa.
I can't handle it. But anyways, yeah, you just buy when you can afford it.
Yep.
With the prices that they are right now, where the market is right now, in hopes that in 10 years, you'll be like, oh man, I'm so grateful that I bought in 2024. Because now my house is worth 10 times more. That's what I'm wishing for everyone.
Exactly.
100 times more.
And that's the thing, is that nothing's guaranteed in real estate. The first few years that we did own our home, we didn't see huge amounts of appreciation. I never thought that our house would be worth more than $1 million ever. I mean, I just never thought it would be worth $1 million, period. And, that's the thing, is that, nothing's guaranteed. You really just, it's a home. So in some ways, I don't think that people should go into purchasing a home thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to make so much money on this. You have to just be like, especially if it's your primary home. If you're an investor, that's different.
Yeah.
You do need to be a little bit more strategic about where you buy, when you buy, all that stuff. That's a different, different animal, exactly, different mindset. So, but if you're looking to purchase a primary home, and that's what you just have to really think more in terms of, think about it like you're buying a thing, a thing that you want to live in, you know what I mean? And it's not necessarily always going to be a great investment. It depends on where you buy, all that stuff. Obviously we all want to make the right decision for ourselves financially, make sure that we are buying something that is going to increase in value. But yeah, there's a lot of cost to home ownership. There's so much to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not always just like, oh my gosh, I'm making so much money. You have to live in that thing. You have to sell that thing if you to get that money out. So it's not,
It's a whole process.
Yeah, it's a whole process.
What other thing in life do people buy often that they expect it to give them more money at the end when they're done with it? They can use it and abuse it and still expect to make money off of it at the end.
That's a good question. I don't know. The only thing I can think of are the two things that like my husband, records. Vinyl albums.
But vinyl albums, you got to take care of it, right?
Well, you have to take care of a house too, though. You do. There's something called deferred maintenance, which is what an appraiser going in and evaluating the value of your home is whether or not there's a lot of deferred maintenance. So you have to paint your house. You have to keep up with the appliances and like all of the systems. If there's plumbing, there's a lot of costs. You're living in it, but you still have to maintain that home. I just painted our house, and that was a lot of money. Besides all of the other things that I've done to it to try to keep up the value.
I'm thinking as far as like, if you buy a vinyl record and let's say it's I don't even know what would be like the most classic vinyl record right now. For me, it would be like a Bob Marley record or something.
Okay.
You're like, okay.
No, I don't see, if Ryan was here, he'd have a lot to say about like the value of records.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking like, for someone to see this record in a store, like someone like Ryan, if it's like all scratched up, the cover is completely trashed, you can't it's like literally all scratched up, like it's not worth, like it's literally just the circle.
Yeah.
It's just a circle but it's not worth anything. Like,
it's not worth it.
So, but like a house is so weird because especially we see it in LA, they are straight piles of dump.
Well, you do have a point. That
out
is
there.
so true.
And like
I
people
know.
trash that house, and like when you compare it to what they bought it at and how much they're about to make on it, you're like, wow, like what else is there that people expect to make a lot of money or get back a return, and they just trash it.
That's true.
I can't think of anything else.
That is true. I have seen some crazy fixers in my neighborhood for like 1.3. And there's a lot of deferred maintenance on those houses.
It's because I think it's because of the
It's location. Yeah, it's about location, which is another thing. Location, location, location. Buy in the best neighborhood that you can possibly afford.
What do you think is the best location in LA?
That's a hard one because there's a lot of factors that go into that.
What would be if Gray, your son, wanted to buy a house or condo? He just like had his grandma, I don't know, someone gave him $1 million only to buy a house. What neighborhood would you tell him to buy in?
Well, like, oh my gosh, that's so hard. That's really difficult.
I know. There's so many good ones in LA.
There are a lot of good neighborhoods in Los Angeles. I mean, I like a lot of them. It depends. Do you want walkable? Do you want a view? Do you? I don't know. Well, I love Northeast LA, obviously.
Yeah.
Like anything in Northeast LA, I feel like is so great because you have parks. You're not too far away from, Hollywood, even though the West Side is kind of far from the East Side, Northeast LA, obviously. But I mean, Silver Lake's really great. Atwater Village is amazing.
That's my number. My number one is Atwater.
Oh, so you love Atwater?
I do like Atwater a lot. I think it's just the best of all the things. That great combination of it's close to a major freeway. It's very walkable and neighborhoody. Certain streets have a view of the mountain. You have that strip full of restaurants, coffee shops. Burbank also. I do like Burbank. I could do Burbank.
Yeah, Burbank is really cute.
That's like real adulting though, that I don't think I'm ready for.
I can see that. It does feel more, I don't know. I don't want to say conservative because there's all kinds of creative people that live there too. I mean, it's
conservative.
Yeah, it feels more.
It feels like these people have, like they're adults with like, they have like savings already for their grandchildren who aren't born yet, and that's not me.
Yeah, I guess I can see that. I can see that. Every neighborhood, yeah, there's so many. That's the thing that's why we love LA. That's why we love Los Angeles, because it's such a great, each neighborhood has its own little like character.
Yeah.
That but I love Atwater. I didn't think that the reason why we bought in Atwater was because we're like, oh man, we're priced out of Silver Lake. We're priced out of, Los Feliz. We're priced out of like all the neighborhoods that we thought that were the best ones. We felt like, oh, but there's Atwater. It's a little bit more affordable.
But that's how every new neighborhood happens.
Yeah.
That's how every neighborhood becomes like the new it neighborhood, is because the one neighborhood that was next to it that was the place to be got too expensive. Exactly. That's why Highland Park is what it's becoming right now.
Oh yeah, Highland Park.
Like, no one was thinking about Glassell Park, Highland Park, Lincoln Heights.
And these neighborhoods are just going to be poppin'. And El Sereno, I feel like a lot of people really still don't know El Sereno. I mean, it's getting more discovered. I feel like the last 5-10 years has, it's popped up more, I think, on people's radar. But I feel like even more so in the next 10 years, it's going to get even more popular because there's really cute parks and you can get a decent place for under $1 million there, whereas you cannot in Highland Park now. You know what I mean? So
crazy.
Yeah, it's really, really,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really intense. So we gotta stay, if you can get in, if you can afford it and you can handle all that home ownership stuff, it's not for the faint of heart, go for it.
What if they aren't handy?
Oh yeah, what if they aren't handy? Like me. I'm not handy. I am not handy at all. And that's the thing, is that when you put that much money into a thing, trust me, you become handy.